need another one of these sometime soon. Sometime soon, I'm going to want another one of these. They still got a couple of months left in it. Hello, everyone. How are you? Wow, so much going on, isn't there? I almost hopped on Friday night, but I thought I'd leave it. With what was going on at that nuclear power plant. While some people are, hi Libra lady, how are you? The attack of the power plant the other day, I think he knew what he was doing. That why? I have an idea of a message he wanted to send, but I want to read the card to see, because it's something that popped into my head. Hello, Catherine Stubbs, and this is Putin attacking that nuclear power plant. Starts with Z. I'm not even going to try and pretend to be able to tell you the name of it, but it in southern Ukraine. Why? What message? And I want to see if the message that popped into my head immediately was the same one that I get from the cards when I go into the energy. So I won't say what message popped into my head, but so will the airspace in the Ukraine be closed? Ukraine would like that, but the NATO and everyone's going, well, if we do that, then it's dragging us into somewhere we don't want to go. Bronx Sage, Patricia Francino, Catherine Stubbs. I said hello, Libra lady, didn't I? Yeah. Two US senators have come under fire for sharing photos of Volodymyr Zelensky on social media after they were reported not to because for the safety of the Ukrainian president. And who were they? Let me see. Steve Daines and Marco Rubio. Oh, wow, isn't that a surprise? Will they be? They were asked, formally requested by the Ukrainian ambassador not to share videos, but they did anyway. Will there be any censure? Any censure for Daines and Rubio? So I want to ask that. Libra lady, I've taken down your question about will Ukraine airspace be closed. At the moment, it's not looking good for that, but we'll have a look. Anyone else got questions? Oh, that shameful thing by DeSantis with the school students berating them like that. And I just saw a little story with the young African American guy on the farthest on the left on the video. If you're watching it, he kept his mask on and then he walked off camera and then came back with it off. And basically, he was told by a female staffer who was on camera earlier to either take the mask off or stay off camera. So, will there be blowback? Because honestly, that's just disgusting, the backlash. What DeSantis did was absolutely disgusting. Oh, he went, keep them on if you want. Okay, so he kept it on, and then he got called off and told to take the mask off or stay off camera. I mean, how awful is that? Will there be backlash from that? How embarrassing and humiliating for those students. You know? Who's escaped from a North Queensland prison? Man jailed for assaulting police is on the run from a low security section of the Townsville prison. I wasn't aware there was such. Okay. Hi, Bronx Sage. Hi, Renee Rogers. Hi, Geek. Oh, she got her laptop yesterday afternoon. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. If he'd do that to kids he doesn't know in public, what does he do behind doors to his own kids? That's what I want to know. Turkey is siding with the US. Oh, Erdogan must need brownie points. Tuesday, Turkey and the United States remain in close coordination as they work for a diplomatic solution. Okay. Is Erdogan ties between have been strayed over a host of issues. They're opposed to sanctions. Yeah. Will those? Yeah. You're listening today in the car. Okay, Em. Hi, Teresa Balthazar. Helen Sweet, hi. Who's got some questions? Someone saying Sydney is no place to build a Maori meeting house as it's disrespectful to Aboriginal people. Open space. First Marae. Well, okay, I'm not going to get into the politics of all that. Yes, will there be a way to get food to them? I'm getting yes, there will. Yeah. I think the Ukrainians are using anything they can get their hands on. To what will happen to the basketball player? What basketball player is that, Medea? Helen Sweet? I don't really know who you're talking about there. There's all sorts of Ukrainian sportsmen and people who. Snapchat had a public heat map on the Ukraine, but they've turned it off the snap heat feature for the Ukraine, making it so the app no longer shows how many snaps are being taken in popular locations. The company said it's a move as a safety precaution and that there will still be curated public feed snaps of submitted by the Ukraine. Oh, I think I know why that is. Normally, the Snap Map displays the color code to show how many people are posting public images in an area. In practice, that means that you can get a good idea of where Snapchat users are constant. Okay, I think what they're doing there is in a wartime scenario where Russia may want to track evacuations or citizen movements, it's probably best that the feature is turned off. I think that's really responsible of Snapchat. High spirits beyond the stars. Trump, I'm just thinking, Trump has been relegated to an also-ran at the moment. He's not dominating the news. I wonder how he's feeling about that. He wants to dominate the news. And I still need a little bit more Catherine Stubbs on this player. She's black and she's gay and she's been being held for allegedly having drugs. But where was she being held? Was she in the Ukraine or in Russia or? Russia. Oh, okay. I can have a look at her. What's her name? Somebody can give me her name. She was detained at an airport. Detained by Russia. Okay. If somebody can get me her name, that would be great. Hi, Mimi Rose. Otherwise, I can go on basketball player, but her name would be useful. Okay. So, how does Trump feel about being relegated to the also ran? Now, I know 1-6 hasn't given up. Brittany Griner. Okay. Well, she had 2 strikes against her even going to Russia, one that she's black and the second that she was gay. Yeah. So, put it on world news now, the feed. Will Georgia take up arms and create a second front to take back provinces lost? Will Georgia join in the fight? Okay. Georgia, the country, okay. Georgia. For a minute there, I thought, oh, Georgia, the state. And then I realized you were talking about Georgia, the country. So, Georgia, take up arms in support of Ukraine. Hi, Sandra Henderson. He did, yes. He was talking about it. He was going to pull out a NATO. She definitely. When was this girl detained? Was it after things started, or? Yeah. Yeah, any countries imposing a no-fly zone over Ukraine would be parties to conflict. Yes, Putin said. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that it hasn't been declared. I'm just going to look up Google Maps. Is China trying to take over Africa? Interesting question. It's certainly interested in parts of it where they would like to have a monopoly. Georgia. Europe. Tbilisi in Georgia. So against all machine. Okay, that's going to be dismissed as frivolous, and yeah. So where is Georgia after the Paralympics? Uncover. Hi, Kristen from Uncover the News. We haven't seen you for a little while too, so thank you. Welcome back. She was detained last month. Yeah. Okay. I don't think so. I don't think they're that. I don't think they're that silly to try and uh, create a it might seem like a good idea to attack, take advantage of things, but I think they'd be silly if they thought that the US was so caught up in what was going in that they're not keeping their eye on other things. Kiev. Georgia. Yeah. Well, it's getting on, so let's get stuck into it. Why? What was the motive for? He could have just gone in and taken that facility without doing what he did. So why did Putin create such a dangerous situation there by sending in. I was watching before, and those towers, they won't withstand like even tank attacks, so they're not made to do that. So why did he do something that was so perceived? And it's the message I got, or the thought that passed through my head. I'm not going to say it was a message, but the thought that passed through my head was that nuclear weapons can come in all shapes and sizes. Just because it's not designed as a weapon doesn't mean it can't be used as one. So why did Putin attack that nuclear power station the way he did? Overflow and meltdown. And this is also about communication with the Ace of Cups. So many people were talking about it, saying, oh my God, he's so lucky it didn't breach containment. And here's containment as well here with the lid on the cup and the Queen. Just hint at what he could do if he turned a couple of tanks and fired straight on into a couple of those towers. He knew what he was doing. Hi, Maureen. And I do think it was a message to the end of the world, to the rest of the world. Sorry, I don't need to fire a nuclear missile to use a nuclear weapon. There's ways and means. Hi, Renee Rogers. Hi, Crazy Cat Lady. How's your mum, Shelby Lisa? Human generic, hello. 171 sign in. Yes, they're closing in on another nuclear facility. What would happen because if you had hit one of those towers directly, it would have made Chernobyl look like small fry. It really would have. So basically, it was a message. You know, we can make the whole country unlivable. Go in and take it over then. They've already breached the ceasefire that they agreed to around some countries, apparently. Is that true? That's just a story I saw. So sometimes you've got to be, objectivity, clarity, insight, understanding, and objectivity. That's what I ask my guides for: clarity, insight, understanding, and objectivity. Is this true that they have already breached the ceasefire that they agreed to, guides? I've been really went down a rabbit hole for quite a while of not really being on top of things and letting things just get down into a bit of an unhealthy place. And so it's like, yeah, start doing things. Did they breach the ceasefire? Abuse. Putin, the emperor here. Again, trying to upset the balance of power. Yes, I'd say he did breach. So, the talk now that they do, that Will the next dictator that tries to take over the country come from Africa? No. No, I don't see that. Yes, I'm going to read on that, Kristen, on them tweeting the screenshots when they were asked specifically by the Ukrainian ambassador not to. Melinda was on last week, but earlier last week. I haven't seen her. Yeah. Will Ukrainian airspace be closed? Putin does not want that. Yeah, and it's not something that NATO wants to play into either, because it would drag them into the conflict even more. But we already had breaches of airspace into Sweden by Russian planes. And no, that tries to take over the United States. Will they come from Africa? No. No, spirits beyond the stars, they won't come from Africa. But there is still talking about it. They're still, putting their case. But at this stage, no, they're standing firm. Is there a chance? It would be very, very surprising if they did that. Yeah, Mariupol itself and the surrounding area. Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to allow people to get out. But yeah. So it would be very surprising. Will Russia seize control of Ukraine? Will they get? The longer they're there, the higher the chances of them seizing control. Is food on its way? Yes, people have made promises and they can be trusted, those promises. Yes, this is passing things along. The boy here is passing the flour to his little sister, passing things, sharing. So yes. But things are getting pretty desperate there. And people are getting a little bit tired. They've been begging for help and begging for help and begging for help. And yes, they're getting arms and they're getting some other things, but I think they're feeling like really that NATO really have to listen up, because if he takes us, those other countries are next. Georgia could take on Russia from the south. I'm just looking at the map there, just trying to get familiar. Yeah, but things are getting a bit hard. Will things improve there? I mean, look, there could be attempts to disrupt that food line too. That's it's already been stated by NATO and the UN and others that in doing what he did with the nuclear power plant, that is a war crime. So Putin's already committed a war. Another one, this one's just a blatant one. So, yeah. So someone asked the question, will Georgia take up arms in support of the Ukraine? They could come in from the south, but let's have a look. I don't know where the question came from, but Georgia part of NATO? I don't think they'd be able to, but will they take up arms import of? I'm seeing there's talk about it. Guys, can you please lead me to the energy? What is happening in Georgia with regard to? They're much smaller than the Ukraine, and the Ukraine is Ukraine. Sorry, it is just Ukraine. It's not the Ukraine. It is just Ukraine. Ukraine is huge. Georgia's quite a small country. Yeah, they're thinking through the consequences of what would happen if they did that. And I do feel like they're going to say retreat is the better part of valor. I don't think they'd take up arms because if they actually took an active part in the fighting, that would just make them a target for Russia. Not so much appeasing Putin, it's knowing what Putin would do if that happened. He would then say, NATO, US, you're fair game now. But I don't know if he'd have the I know that a lot of these countries have closed their airspace to Putin. Hi, Joji. It's not a matter of appeasing Putin. It's a matter of avoiding a conflict that could spread over the rest of Europe, the rest of Eastern Europe, and is this World War III? No. No, this is really is a face-off between two. Here's Biden, here's Putin. And here's working together. Biden is continually working on this along with other things. Oh, the yachts, yeah. Okay. Putin is going to have to answer for his actions. Here's the judge with the Queen of Swords there. Biden's working on it. Putin is going to have to answer. There might be another couple of countries who actually get drawn into this, but it is going to be contained. It's not going to become a world war as such, but what's here? People have got to wake up. There's a message here. People have to wake up. You can't just roll along, and no matter how hard it is, you can't just let people run everything for you. You have a responsibility. What I mean by run everything for you is this is an Armageddon end of days, whatever you want to call it. Hi, Sheila, Angel Feather Tarot. How are you, my dear? But it is a wake-up call. The dictators like Putin cannot be let to run wild and rampant over long periods of time. The warning signs have been there for a long, long time. And they weren't harsh enough with sanctions. Understandably, they didn't want to starve the Russian people, but there were other things they could have done as well. Okay. Will there be any consequences for Senators Dane and Rubio for sharing what should have really been classified images? They were asked not to share them on social media, but they did anyway, because they were asked not to share because of the security risk to Zelensky. They were instructed, they were asked by the ambassador and instructed by everybody else, do not share these images, and they shared those images. Will there be consequences? Yes, I saw that. That dome that he drew, that's pretty much what I asked. You know, when I asked for a dome of protective white light, that's what I ask for when I do my prayers. So, yeah. Of course, hubby and our fur babies are in it with me. Okay, will Senator Daines and Rubio, will there be consequences for them for sharing these videos? The Ukrainian ambassador asked for it not to be shared. They were instructed not to share them because of security reasons, and they totally ignored it. It's not, and if they say it's because the American people have a right to see, that's bullshit. We don't, they don't. So let's see, will there be consequences? Oh, they're definitely going to be put on the defensive. They made an agreement that they had no intention of keeping. Liars. Hi, Jen. Oh, yeah, Poland apparently is not very, there's a bit of a problem with Poland and with how they treat non-whites. And Kamala Harris is going to be talking to them about it. So, they had no intention of keeping their word. They lied right from the start. Got the moon here. There's consequences for them that they have. They hidden consequences. Like they're not aware of. They're going to be caught a little bit, really off guard. It's like, and it's shone a light on them that they really don't like. They're really not going to like this sort of light. They were requested by the ambassador of a country that is at war and whose leader is under threat of assassination constantly, and they are going to be embattled because of it. It is going to be considered, it is a breach. They might even be shut out now. Their access to resources in this way, they might even be, there's quite a few things that they can actually have thrown at them, and I think they're looking at things, but they're going to try and cloud it and put it under another issue. They could even face prosecution. Could it be such a severe breach that they're not able to run for office again? Oh, yes. The 14th Amendment could be invoked here with these two. I asked, could it be such a severe breach that they're not able to run for office again? Yeah. Israel's Prime Minister Naftali Bennett met for about... Okay, I didn't know that. I can have a read on that conference. But first, can you two guys just excuse me for a couple of minutes? I have to go and take my blood sugar levels 2 hours after eating. So I'll be gone for like a minute, 2 minutes, and then I'll be back. Thanks. And when I come back, I will read on that meeting with Israel and Hey, sweetheart. Hey, sweetie. First off for you, Hey, I'm back. So I'm just going to write that down just a tiny little bit above what's ideal, but only 0.1. Well, just 0.1 outside of the ideal range. So, yeah. Hi, Estelle Harrington. Hi, new grandma. Thanks for joining us. I just had to take a quick stop and go and do my blood sugars. 2-hour post-food blood sugar. And let's see. I'll get a different deck. I'm just going to make sure there's no reversals in this deck. That I'm using. Okay, I think we might have a troll or no. I'm a believer in Hamayashi Yawahashi. Hi. I'm a believer. If you're not a troll, please say something now. If you are, ta-da. Problem is that the people themselves might not be any such thing, but their names get hijacked by the bots. Okay, there we go. So just I can just turn them right side up. That's true. Yeah, but sometimes it's like if one does come out reversed, then I know it's really significant. So, yeah. Did Bennett and sit at 100-foot table? I have no idea. I think that's just the sort of detail we don't really need to know. But you guys asked about the meeting. Naftali Bennett met for about 3 hours Saturday with Putin in Moscow and had a video conference with Zelensky. So he met with Putin in person and then had a video conference. So how did that go? Let's see. All depends on what he was trying to achieve too. So the meeting with Putin. We'll look at that first. Do a little 5-card cross on that. Let's see. God to the highest truth and compassion. Can you please? Okay. Whoa. Overall, I don't think it was very good. I've got the High Priestess.
There you go, Bobby.
Oh, I've got the Beatles on my shirt and I got the Beatles on my new cup of coffee. Excellent. So I've got the High Priestess shadowing this. So really, I'll have to read more. But this could mean that there was a little bit of conceit on Bennett's part as to whether or not he would really make a difference with Putin. Because overall, it doesn't seem to have gone well. Certainly not bringing an end to anything. But it may have changed irrevocably the relationship between Putin and Israel. What was the challenge there? Getting Putin to see the light, basically. See that he doesn't that ultimately he's not going to be able to pull off this magic trick. That was a real challenge. This was a big impact meeting, actually. I don't know that it will have done more bad than good. I'll have a read on that. What was the advice? This is going to leave a really bad legacy for your people's country. With the 10 of Pentacles, just total loss, dark side. There's just a total dark side for the people of your country with wealth and everything. It's all, look where you are now. You know, the ruble, less than 1 cent in a dollar. You know, the financial legacy here is, what was at the base of the meeting? Why did he have it? Oh, he really thought that, I think there's quite a bit of pride and conceit here. And he really thought that he could indoctrination. I really thought, I think he really thought that he could get Putin to see the parallels between him and Hitler and other people. Not necessarily Stalin, who Putin really admired, but yeah. What was the outcome of the meeting? Really not very much. He thought he might have opened some doorways for further talks, but I see more. Putin really didn't see him as an equal in any way. And Putin didn't listen. Did any good come out of the meeting? Maybe a little bit of hope. So there may have been some opening, created some opening for dialogue. So there might be a little bit of hope coming out with the star card. But yeah. I think there was like, what we can do to help you if you withdraw, but no, overall it was a wasted effort on Bennett's part, that meeting with Putin. Now, the meeting with Zelensky, which he would have had to do in Russia, which would have been spied on by the Russians. Hi, Sherry French. Yeah, I don't think he eased the situation very much at all. Hi, Aline. Hi, Margelle. Hi, Celtic Seer. I don't think he really did achieve very much at all. So then he went online with Zelensky for an online meeting, which I'm sure is, that only try and hope he was in the air when he was doing it. Hi, Bonnie Russell. Marge, did you go through a tornado, lovey? Oh, horrible. Let's see. So the meeting with Zelensky. He really tried his hand. This is Benny. He tried to back him into a corner of some sort. It was not very good. It was not very good at all. The challenge there was just trying to contain things, keep a lid on things. So I think Zelensky honestly believes that Banner made it worse for their country. This storm clouds are brewing. The challenge there was there's just no trust. Zelensky just is like, how can I even trust you? The Knight of Swords, yeah. Bane was able to warn him, be prepared for more chaos. And I'm just getting the impression that even though he didn't say it, in his head, Zelensky was going, oh, duh, what a sitfo. Stating the effing obvious. the base of this reading is trying to bring about an end to the struggle. The Benet's solution would just mean, come get me, Putin. Putin will take, if he takes the Ukraine, he's not just going to let Zelensky run away. Wherever Zelensky goes, he's going to be a target. What was the outcome? Very minor. Some minor celebration. So I think, yeah, he may have, with opening, I think that Beijing having the door left open for some dialogue there. Yeah, so some minor celebrations, but still, it didn't help. It may have even made it more restrictive for Zelensky. Did Zelensky get anything positive out of this meeting with Bennett? Some, yes, maybe. An assurance that Israel would hold Putin accountable as well. But Five of Wands, and nothing that's going to end this conflict quicker. And there it is again. Israel doesn't think outside the box. It's got very narrow design. You know, we'll help you as long as you do it within these codes, you know. There was a little bit of good out of this. Some maybe good news. You know, there's the struggles nearing towards its end. You will succeed ultimately, but there's a lot of chaos beforehand. But no, ultimately, this guy's too conventional. And yeah, they need Russia's help with Syria. Yeah, so he went in and he thought what he offered wouldn't really help Zelensky or Ukraine out of the tight situation they're in. So no, it was pretty much a waste of time. Oh, sorry, hit the wrong button there. No, they haven't done anything good. They haven't helped really in any way. So I've got my Beatles Sergeant Pepper mug, and I'm wearing my Beatles Abbey Road t-shirt. My Beatles Abbey Road t-shirt, and with the Beatles on top there, written there. So I'm a very Beatley person this morning. All you need is love. Do, 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 do. There you go. And that's all you're going to get out of me. Now, where's my little book? Will DeSantis face backlash from the student masking? Just showed him to be a bully. Will DeSantis face backlash? Oh, I think that's a yes. This was a really big misstep on his part. Really big misstep. King of Pentacles. There is going to be some loss of resources for him. Seven of Swords. No, it's not something he's going to get away with. And yeah, there is going to be some loss of resources. Sheila, where are you, my dear? Where are you? Deborah Costro, hi, hello. It does sound good, doesn't it? Oh, Ducky, how are you? We were trying to do a video together the other day, and my microphone on Zoom, it was just total crap, and I realized, yeah, I had to get it. So, thanks to you guys, of course, and I could. So, it, yeah, really makes a difference that you support me the way you do. Villas, houses, and yachts worth 143 million euro from 5 Russian oligarchs. Will this change their support? Oh, there's some who will always support Putin. Linda G said something the other day. I don't know if it's right, and I'm not going to do a reading on what she said, but a couple of them have died in mysterious circumstances. So, yeah. And Sheila Celtic. Oh, it's been ages since you've been able to join me, and I'm so glad you have. Sheila is the Irish form of Sheila. Oh, I love that. How's it said, Celtic Seer? It's spelled S-I-L with a little thing over it, an E, but how's it pronounced? Is it Chalet or with a sh? Or I love that name. That is gorgeous. I need to write it down. But how's it pronounced? Shala. Pronounced Shala. Oh, I love it. And Cecilia as well. Yep. Oh, Shala. I love that. That's gorgeous. Anyway, Italy announces that it sees those. Thank you, Kristen. Oh, Shayla. Or Shayla, depending on where you're from, I guess. Yeah, so we're looking at DeSantis with him berating those students for wearing a mask. And yeah, it is basically what's shadowed here is a move, but not necessarily a move from rough waters into calmer waters. It could be a move into rougher waters here. So, yeah, and he's going to be pretty much on his own. Well, I won't I won't contradict you on that, Angel Feather, on that summation of DeSantis. Ah, is that where Shelby comes from? Shelby is a very pretty name on its own. Okay, what's next? Oh, I have. Trump has been pretty well for this. He's been relegated to the background. Then also ran. How is he taking it? How is he taking it? Being put into the also ran. So let's have a look at that. I'm getting ego. So let's have a look. What major malfunction is? I don't know. Are the floodwaters receding here in Australia? Yes, but the ground is absolutely soaked. It's cannot hold any water whatsoever. And there's unfortunately Southeast Queensland, New South Wales, they're all expecting more rain and storms this evening, and so there might not be like the high level of flooding, but there's definitely a danger of flash flooding. Yeah, and we've had 11 people die in the floods on the East Coast. You wanted to ask DeSantis what his major malfunction is, saying from the 80s. He has no empathy. But yeah. Okay, how is Trump feeling? Because he's definitely been relegated to the also rans. He's not on top of the news. What flew out? A card flew out. Empress. The deck was upside down. The Empress flew out. He is like desperately seeking inspiration. Will the US? No, they won't do that. That is totally against the rules of engagement, and they won't do that. Not active US military, ex-military might, and probably a few already over there, but not no, that's not something that the government would authorize, and they would have to authorize it. Oh, that's an interesting question. Are Trump and Putin tied fate-wise? Oh, I'll have a look at that. Trump and Putin tied fate-wise. Yeah. So he, yeah, definitely, he's looking for inspiration, and that is backed up by the Page of Cups, with the little fish desperately looking for inspiration. That's on the bottom of the deck. the Page of Cups there. Desperately looking for inspiration to basically lift his profile. And he's really like, find me ideas. Hi, Eleanor. It's lovely to see you here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Don't Say Gay bill is just disgusting. And I do think that that is going to get thrown out at some stage. Yeah, but no, I'm quite sure. And in fact, even some Australians have probably gone over there and stuff. Unfortunately, there are some ex-military who only feel that their place in the world is in arenas like this. And it's very sad that that's what they feel. So he is really upset. He's like, why? I should be all things to the news media. And he's really desperate for ideas. He's out of ideas because he just keeps saying the same old playbook. 10 of Pentacles. He's pissed. He is pissed at Don Jr. because Don Jr. was copying him. To Trump, flattery is not the most sincere form. Imitation is not the most sincere form of flattery. Imitation is how dare he. But he really feels like, he should be there. With everything he has, all the power and stuff he has, he should be on top of the news all the time. Two of Pentacles. He's going to try and manipulate, as is his usual things, juggle things and manipulate. And, this is, at the base of this is he's not on top defining boundaries and telling people where to go. And he cannot stand it. What's the outcome of this? He's going to try and do something ridiculous to reestablish his place in the world, to reestablish his his perceived place in the world. But things are going to change. They are going to change. And he's going to be back in the forefront of the world again soon. But why? Why is he going to be back in the forefront of the news again soon? 6 of January. He attempts to overthrow Biden's victory. That's every time. The 1-6 commission, his attempt to overthrow Biden's victory. That's what that card is every time we're talking about Trump. And dark money. Oh, and his ties to the devil. He's gonna be on the news again, but for all the wrong reasons. But he's not happy. How's he feel about it? He's desperate. He's desperate. He cannot stand not being the focus of attention and the center of attention. Oh, Trump's platform is a dud. It's not going to last very long. It'll still be around for a few months, but honestly. Emotionally, how is Trump about all this, about not being top dog? People going, so you can't say things like that. You can't praise Putin like that. Oh, he's feeling abandoned. He's feeling abandoned. Poor thing. Oh, in the background, shoved in the background. See? 4 of Swords, 8 of Cups, 4 of Swords, and out in the cold with the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah. How is he? Emotionally? I'm going to get you all. I judge you and I'm going to make you all pay. Yep. I'm the king. And I'll be there again. And you'll all play. And he's absolutely, of course, in the reverse, fiery, losing his temper, blasting off at people. He even hates it that DeSantis is getting coverage because of the mask debacle. This is, yeah. How does Trump look to the Georgia grand jury? You're fatigued, Eleanor, but you're happy to be home. Oh, that's fantastic news. I'm still getting that. It's like a picture to the race, to the finish line, like 2 horses racing to the finish line, and one is the state of Georgia or the, that grand jury, and the other is New York. It's so close as to who'll get there first. Is the grand jury in Georgia going to indict Trump? Firstly, on the bottom, the Empress, that's a big yes. 10 of Cups. They're actually coming to fruition. Days or weeks. As we know, tarot's terrible for time, so don't take that literally. But the 10 of Cups coming to fruition. Temperance and agreement. Are they going to indict Trump? A change for Trump. That's going to end his chances of career. So there's a pretty high level of agreement with the result being an end. Is this Trump being indicted with the death card? The Emperor, yes, the rule of law. So I do think that they will indict Trump. Yeah. As for when, I'm glad you're safe, Marjo. I hope everyone around you is safe too. They are. Thank you. They're one of my favorite decks. They are the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore, illustrated by Ali Fell. The Queen of Cups is actually Queen of Cups card, which features on the cover. This is them. And the artist is a man called Ali Fell. And the Queen of Cups is actually that's his wife that he used on the Queen of Cups. That's the Queen of Cups. So, yeah, it's a beautiful deck. It's one of my favorite. I love all my steampunk ones. So what I'm going to do now is actually grab another steampunk deck. And this is a very edgy deck. And I love it because it is so. And it is the And this is by John and Caitlin Matthews with the illustrations by Will Kingan. And it is Steampunk Tarot, Wisdom from the Gods of the Machine. It's a very edgy deck, but I really, really like it. It brings a totally different vibe. And what I'm going to read on is the question, are Trump and Putin's fates tied? Are Trump and Putin's fates tied? There's several steampunk decks you can get. There's another one by Soraya Rose as well. And then there's the Victorian steampunk deck by Liz Dean. This is a good one. Yeah, so let's have a look. So, are Putin and Trump's fates intertwined? Are they tied? Yeah, I'm so sorry you were subjected to Fox News all day. Two of Leviathans. That's the Two of Pentacles. Juggling one goes up, the other goes down that way. I'm thinking that is pretty much a yes. And Leviathans, they're big, heavy, they weigh a lot, they take up a lot of energy. And in this deck, the Leviathans are huge, big machines. That just suck in all the energy and air around them. Okay. So I would say that's actually a yes. But in what way? In what way? Time Machine X. That is the wheel. Changes in one person's life affects the other person's life. I'm getting a picture. I don't know if you've seen the Cheech and Chong movie called The Corsican Brothers, but they play twins, right? They're twins, fraternal twins, of course, but you know, if one gets hurt, the other one feels the pain. The other person doesn't feel the pain. So the one who gets hurt doesn't feel the pain. The brother feels the pain and vice versa. So if they want to have a fight and fight each other and beat each other up, they'll hit themselves. And the other brother feels it. So then he'll go back with hitting himself or stabbing himself with a knife. And it's like, so they're beating themselves up in order to hurt the other. So every time Putin stuffs up, Trump is hurt. And every time Trump stuffs up, Putin is hurt. So they are like the Corsican brothers of autocratic leaders. So yeah, a change in one affects a change in the other. The Apprentice. This is literally Trump was Putin's apprentice. That's it. Trump decided he wanted to become powerful in politics and knew that the Democrats, while he was a lifelong Democrat, would not accept him as a political player. So he co-opted the Republicans and set himself out to be Putin's apprentice. Now, this is how they're intertwined. Trump created the situation. So, how is this going to affect their futures? What's on the bottom here? The Navigator of Submersibles. This is the Knight of Cups. They're both lie. And this guy, he has no idea where to go. He thinks he's going into an idyllic place, but he's going to end up washed up on a desert island. So Putin told Trump, and Trump believed the lies. So that was on the bottom. But how? What if, as their fates are so intertwined, what is in store for each of them? Putin, I'll do him first. Four of Engines. Going home. Going home. Him and his giant machine going home. And minor celebration because of it. How? Captain of airships. Okay, so engines are wands, the Four of Wands. Submersibles are cups. Airships are swords. And Leviathan is pentacles, okay? Captain of airships, prosecution, paying for his actions as a warrior. And the Emperor, and the Emperor is return stability.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Better?
Better. My 2-hour reading was 7.8, which was 0.1 above the normal range, but I think it might have something a bit to do with the coffee I was drinking as well. I think it would have been
Doing
a
2
bit
hours.
lower. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what's
Yeah, we've got to
recommended.
get those levels down. What do you think? Number 3 rather than number 4?
Oh, you've done your hair.
Can't tell the difference, can you?
Will you do my hair?
Not like this.
No, I want it all gone.
No, one of us with number 3 all over is enough, thanks. No.
I want to show support to somebody.
Oh, no, please, I love your hair the way it is.
You won't let me shave my hair off if somebody I know loses their hair for chemo. I'm not going to say who, but if somebody I know loses their hair to chemo, I want to shave my hair off in support. But he's going, no.
Please,
The
no
emperor.
change.
Why is the emperor? How is the change going to him being the emperor? Thank you, Shelby Lisa. Navigator of Leviathans. His whole run as emperor brought to a halt. This is, you see, he's washed up on the rocks and he's trying to navigate his way through the rocks and see a way forward, but he can't really. So, yeah, Putin's going to end. Now, I love this deck. It's so edgy. Now, so we've looked at how these intertwined, the changes that happen to one, happen to another, and all this is instigated by Trump and his run for power. Because he reached out to Putin and said, teach me. Okay, Trump. What does this intertwining mean for Trump? Captain of Engines, King of Wands. There he is again, the King of Wands. Remember? His reign as the King of Wands. And that's just not as the president. That's his hold over the Republican Party and stuff. Six of Submersibles, Six of Cups. Past actions coming back because they are intertwined. And the Six of Cups, Six of Submersibles is the back, is the past. Actions and dreams from the past and strategies from the past coming back. This guy is definitely underwater. And then suspension tank. The suspension tank. Again, a pause. Look at this. The suspension tank, the hangman. Pause, halt, freeze. Oh, the pause too, indicated by could be Putin's money. And if Putin's money is lost and the oligarch's money is lost, what's going to happen? What does this mean for Trump? Five of airships, total defeat. Total defeat. This is London underneath here. You can see the Tower Bridge there. London's burning. Yeah. So, yeah. I hope you guys found that really interesting. I'm definitely seeing Putin being pushed back, sent home with a flea in his ear to cheers. And having to pay for it, pay the cost of it. And his role as emperor just stopped. I think Putin thinks that if he can get rid of the oligarchs, he can seize their assets and everything. But as most of their assets are overseas, if he gets rid of the oligarchs, overseas governments will just freeze it and say, well, no, it belongs to the family until all that can be sorted out and the investigation and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Hi, Deb said. But that was a really interesting question. I hope you enjoyed these cards. I do love them. They're extra edgy, and I like that about them. Yeah. Just put them back. Now, what else we got there? The basketball player, Brittany Griner, who was detained in Russia on drugs charges, black, she's gay, that's stacked it against her, which is just wrong. What is going to happen with her? I do think that she's going to be sent home. The reason she was detained is a bargaining chip. But she is being used. Yes, Fiona Hill. She was. Can somebody please remind me who Fiona Hill was? But I do know she spoke up and said, "No, this isn't good enough." She was a national security person, wasn't she? Wasn't she the person who first sounded the alarm with the Ukrainian, with the blackmail of Ukraine? Okay, Brittany Griner. What is in the cards for her? I do feel like she's a bargaining chip. It was lies, you know. It was lies. Brittany Griner. What is her future? Well, there's a change coming up in her circumstances. Yeah, the National Security Council. Yes. I think she's feeling a little bit left behind, a little bit abandoned. She's feeling that way. This is the basketball player, and she's finding it a bit hard to be positive. This is a challenge for her. But we've got a change here in circumstances here. And the advice to her is to be positive because there is a change coming up with her place in the world. At the base of this, it's okay. Thanks. At the base of this is, Putin. He wants her as a bargaining chip. And that's why the US is saying to us, get out of Russia. Any US citizen who's held there, they're going to be used as a bargaining chip. So this is Putin. What's the outcome for her? Talks, negotiation, details. It was a really sloppy setup. Will she get home? Will she get home okay? Going to take a while. So she's going to be there for a while yet with the hermit and isolated. But the government's not going to give up on her. It might be hard to feel that way, but, and she's going to be embattled for a little bit. But I asked, will she get home? And there are no negative cards here, but it is going to take a while. And yes, she will. She will. It will be like 1 minute she's still in bars, behind bars, and the next she's free. But time-wise, it's still going to be a little bit of time, okay? Don't expect it to be released tomorrow or something. It could be months yet, possibly even more than that. But there will be a change, but it's still a while away. Both of the change cards are Major Arcana, which as time-wise we know is longer rather than... but to keep her chin up. I don't think she's going to be there for years, but yeah. She hasn't been forgotten and she hasn't been abandoned, even though it might feel that way to some people. Yeah. Okay. Is China going to try to take over Africa? Interesting question. You would think at first, what a very interesting question that is, but it's not actually as off the wall as you might think. So, you just played a 45-minute long drum solo for your stalker. Okay. They would certainly like to upset the status quo, but their strategies just aren't going to work in Africa, if you know what I mean. It's such a different place. They want to institute change in Africa, but they want to go in and they want to, unite the way that they were united as a country and all that sort of stuff. But Africa is just too diverse. It is. Would the changes work? No, it will be a struggle to institute those changes. It is too much of a unbalanced and unstable place. There's so many tribal differences and there's so many warlords and their changes happen so constantly in that. They might have designs on doing it, but they just would not be successful. It just would not work. Yeah, it would just be endless round of conflict after endless round of conflict. Yeah, and they would withdraw. So as much as they might like the idea, it's just one region where nobody is ever really going to be able to. The closest anyone would have got with the different empires that were set up. But even then, there were, regions and stuff. But even then, each of the colonial empires set up by different colonizing countries, even the differences within which, it was a real nightmare. So no, they might have designs to do it, but it's just not going to be able to be happen. It's just not they might be able to go into one country and do that, but it's just because it's so but it's a very big might because it is so unstable there within each country, and even the stablest of countries could erupt at any moment, and it's just they wouldn't be able to take over the whole lot. Somebody asked, will they go for Taiwan? We're trying to go for Taiwan after the Paralympics. Maybe trying to take advantage of what's happening in Eastern Europe. Oh, interesting question, Celtics there. So first we're trying to go for Taiwan after the Olympics. They're certainly thinking about it. There's communication about it, and there's some support with the Eight of Wands, and there's some support of the idea within the country, within the party. But no, it would be a huge mistake to think that they could do that. They're better off staying as they are. And Taiwan is going to be recognized as a country. Not sure when, but it could be years. It's not going to be in the immediate future, but it will eventually be recognized as a country. Okay, China, blah, blah, blah. China has more debt than the USA. Will this become obvious soon? Interesting. China are very secretive about their debts, aren't they? Let's have a look. Just got to check something, guys. Okay. I'm going to be taking it easy for another week or so, but then I'm going to start doing some readings again. So if you want a reading starting next weekend on, so next Saturday on, Friday night, Friday on, please do email me. It's $30 US, so whatever the equivalent is in the country you're in. And it's for an hour, but I use Zoom or I can use Messenger if you're on my Facebook, if you're linked to me on Facebook. And I use PayPal. So if you do want a reading, I'll be available from Friday morning on. Morning in the US are good times for me because that's evening my time. So that is preferred, but I can do other times, okay? Okay, let's see. Is China's debt problem going to become more obvious? Guides at the highest truth and compassion. Thank you for your help so far. I ask for more. Take me to the energy of China. Debt. Got a picture of a Chinese yuan. What I think is a yuan. And it's got the traditional hole in the middle, which is, I don't know whether that's Chinese or not, but that's what people often traditionally think Chinese coins look like. And it's just bleeding. Interesting. Their economy is in chaos. Their economy is in chaos. What's the challenge? Secrets, lies, and spies. Just so many things that they have kept hidden are coming to light. And this is a challenge for them. What's the advice for China? Is try and be more responsible and spread their resources more, because there's areas of China that they just starve it away. They want to get rid of this group of people, so they don't get any resources. They just leave them and say, survive on your own. Hi, Sherry French. at the base of this. Consequences for past actions. They've done some things that have just not paid off. Okay? Made some moves that have just not paid off. They really are keeping a lot of things hidden from the rest of the world with regard to their finances. Because if they let that out, they feel like it will make them an easier target. The outcomes here is things will get better. Okay, you don't want people starving. Is that true? And I thought, hang on, look, is that true? Or will it be a depression? Because I was thinking, no, that should be turned upside down because, of course, this is things are good. This is depression. And if we're talking money, a depression in China would not be good. Should this be reversed? Should this be depression? A change. This is the world card on top of it. So these are two major arcana, big impact card. So all going along, but a change due. And this is a yes card as well if we're doing that. Okay, so what? Here we are, indoctrinated thinking, not thinking outside the box, not diversifying. Okay, what is in store if China goes into a depression? How will it affect the rest of the global economy? And it will affect the rest of the resources. They'll be looking for more resources. Could even cause some military issues. Very much consequences for other economies. In some countries, it could cause problems with their military because they get a lot of stuff from China. It would not be a good thing for the world in general. Overflowing. Just overflow after overflow after overflow. Be like cyclical for a while. One of the interpretations with this is that the cup is constantly being filled by being drained. People will be putting money in and it will be going constantly being filled by being drained at the same time, over and over and over. How will it affect the rest of the world? It could lead to economies suffering. Yeah. Could lead to a, if not global depression, at the very least a global recession, and people just will not trust those who talk about how they're going to help them with their money. Could it lead to a run on banks even? We've got the Five of Pentacles here, out in the cold with their money. Could it lead to a run? Yeah, it would. Yeah, which would not be good. Bad things if they go into a depression. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Here's the thing, they don't want to feed their people. They want to get rid of populations that the party don't think bring anything to China's glory by attrition. So they keep resource, they don't send them food when they need it, and they just let natural disasters, they do the bare minimum, and even if they do that, depending on where they are, because China is huge and there's a lot of remote places and they just go via attrition. Of course, China needs a new change in leadership, but it's still many, many, many years away, decades. Okay. Just going to get up and stretch my legs for a minute. Okay. And have a quick snack. And be back in about 2 minutes. So if you could just bear with me and have a think about what questions you might like to ask, because I think I'm at the end of my questions in the book. So yeah, I am. So if you can come up with some questions, I'll be back in 2 minutes after I get a quick snack. Just having my quick snack. Okay, thanks for your patience. When will they stop Putin now going after 3 nuclear power points? There are 4 in all. Yes, there are 4 in all. And hello, LF. Hi, how are you? Will they be able to stop Putin going after the other 3 power points? I know they're on their way to another one. Will they be able to stop him? There's an opportunity coming up to do so. It's still a little bit down the road yet to where they reach that opportunity, but there is an opportunity coming up that will help them to do so. The challenge? Keeping things quiet. Putin, of course, he's got ears everywhere and stuff, and so keeping that strategy to themselves. So basically keeping spies away. Okay. The advice: be patient, retreat. He's got the one, but the other 3 are staying on the wall. And this is a card of retreat. What's at the base of this? Talks, negotiations, talking, group efforts around the other 3. There's going to be a real concentration. Now, I think one of the reasons he's doing this too is not just to take control of them, but also if he can divert resources to those places, he can possibly divert them away from Kiev or the other. It can be a diversionary tactic as well. It doesn't mean he wouldn't take them, he would, but he can use it as a way to divert resources away from Kiev, and that's his ultimate goal. Will the Ukrainians succeed in keeping him away from them? Yes, they will ultimately. Yeah, they've got a little bit of, but they will gain back the control be in control, and that includes gaining back control of the one he's got. Okay, NATO has to do something about Putin going after the nuclear power plants ASAP. I'm not sure what they can do. I am not an expert on geopolitical politics and stuff, but we do know that what he did is a war crime. So let's have a look at what can NATO or the UN do. Do I think that the war will end in April? And it is a war. Let's make no mistake about that. Will it be over in April? Let's go for a simple yes, no on that. Will it be over in April? There's definitely going to be consensus or talks in April. And that's a good card. Surprise, inspirational. A return to near full stability. So we've definitely got 3 cups cards. So they're good. They're good indicators. That things will have settled down again, in April, by April. Will it still be going in April? No. The anxiety should be over by then. So hopefully it'll be finished sometime. He'll be driven out sometime in March. This could be too, it would be brought to an end by then because it can no longer, they can no longer ignore the threat. They can no longer ignore the fact that help is needed. Yeah, and reply with strength. Okay, what can or will NATO, the UN do about this? Apart from stepping up sanctions, which sometimes I think is, they feel like sanctions is a panacea for all, but in a lot of cases that's all they have without going full on into a war. I think Putin knows that if NATO gets drawn into this, it'll be over for him very quickly. What can NATO do about the power plants and about Putin attacking the power plants? Yet they know that it's not something, he's already got one, there's another 3 there. There's, of course, a lot of dissatisfaction being felt that they're not doing anything about this because it is wrong. They don't want to get themselves backed into a corner. So they're looking at the UN for this. But they do have some strategies, but they're not willing to bring them out in the open. Okay. No, I don't think he's dying, but he is ill. Is Putin dying, guys? I'm not getting anything on that, but he's ill. He's ill. That's all I'm getting. He is ill. But yeah. What can NATO do? They are not prepared to reveal everything they can do. But if NATO backs them into a corner, and this is a card of being backed into a corner, will they strike? They will definitely do something to change the balance of power. But that's what that is and how that is, don't know yet. How long will they let things stand at this dissatisfactory? Okay. This is not going to last long because there's going to be justification. And then it's going to bring things into a whole new level. So there's very strict rules about what they can do, but this justification is going to happen. Is Putin going to really stuff up? 10 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, the Hope card. Yeah, it looks like he might. He's going to really, really stuff up. And the shift is there's going to be a balance of power in the shift. So yes, he's really going to stuff up, and it's going to affect his country and the people of his country more than it will ever affect him. He is. The balance of power is going to shift, and he will abandon Ukraine. Yeah. So there is hope that NATO will be able to come in and help. If there's continued incursions of airspace, NATO airspace, things like that, they really have to be up to stand up and say we were justified. But I don't think that they'd go in full on. I don't think they would really need to go in full on. They would just need to, yeah. Oh my goodness. Question. A very valid question too. Celtic Seer, how much destruction and loss of life will this madness, before this madness comes to a halt? In some areas, it's going to be desolation. There's already areas that have just been laid waste to desolation. No, that won't happen. Those two will never be able to meet again. Some oligarchs are going to be stripped of everything. Not all of them, but some of them are. So the question was, how much destruction and loss of life before this madness comes to an end? A strong and compassionate leader. This is the death card, of course, which is changes to the country that can never be, undone. The Six of Pentacles. What was, it will just be buried, gone. It will be, it's going to be what was before and what was forever after in the minds of the Ukrainian people. The Page of Wands. But it will light a fire under the Ukrainian people. This is the Page of Wands. So this is the Six of Pentacles, and of course this is the death and destruction. A lot. This is a major arcana card. It's a major impact, so a lot. But it is going to light a fire under the Ukrainian people, an inspirational fire. This orator. Yeah, again, on top of the death card, we've got the Tower card, major arcana. So this is the death, this is the destruction, major, as I said, desolation, On top of the Six of Pentacles, we've got the Page of Pentacles. There will be new foundations established. Money. Aid. Aid with money will help. The country will never be able to go back to what it was, but it will grow from there. And the fire in the Ukrainian people will, help them move on not from the memories and not from what happened, but it will be able to help them move on and transition, move on to you see this boat is heading towards the star, the hope, the star rising, the new direction, transition, move on from the loss and the pain. There'll always be some of it that will be hung on to. But it won't consume them, so that they'll never be able to move towards a brighter future. They will. They'll see it as a time of transition. Yeah, but it is going to be a struggle. The Six of Swords, it's going, but they will move on from this. The Six of Swords is on top of the Death card and the Tower card, on top of the Death and Destruction. They will, because they are strong people, be able to move on from this. They will take the help that is offered and forge a new country. This is the Fool card, forging ahead with faith in themselves and in their country. This can be a card of faith as well. This is the Ghost Tarot by Los Garabio. And yeah, the fire of these people and their ability to move on, not just sit there, and they don't cry over spilt milk. They move forward and they move towards recovery, but they still carry those losses and that sadness, and that they'll always be there. But the country will rebuild to new strengths. So that's, when will it end? Weeks. Here's the Temperance card. Things back in balance. Hi, Michelle Peterson. Things being brought in. And I said weeks. And this came up. And this is the yes card. This is a positive card. So it could be weeks. But that could also be in terms of a month or so. And the Three of Cards. Yes, support. There is more support, more people coming through to offer support. Ukraine will survive this, and they will not be beaten. There will be much to clean up, but they will emerge stronger than ever as a nation and as a people. Will Russia be held accountable for? Yes. Will Russia be held accountable for the destruction in the UK? Unwarranted destruction. Hi, Human Generic. You've been on for a while, haven't you? Hello, Sweet P68. Or Sweet 68P. Will they be held accountable? Yes. Yes, they are. But they're going to... They will have to withdraw. There will be withdrawal with the Four of Swords. The Knight of Pentacles. It's all about money. This was purely mercenary. Purely mercenary. Yes, the Knight is the slowest moving knight, and it can talk about things coming to a halt, but it's also the card of the mercenary. It was all about money. The Queen of Pentacles. Resources. The provision. The thing is that Russia itself is going to be left devastated at the end of all this as well. But there will have to be I got Crimea being handed back. I don't know if that's repatriation. It could take the form of moving out of the Crimea. The bigger picture here. And the judgment. This is judgment in a court of law. They are going to be ordered to repatriate. Reparations, not repatriation, sorry. It's reparation. I knew I got that word wrong. It's reparation will be ordered. And yes, they will be given the opportunity. There's a lot of resources, I think, in the Crimea. I think Ace of Cups, talking, communication, negotiation. Three of Swords. It is going to be, they're going to have to let go. This can be a card of letting go. They're going to have to let go. I think they could lose Crimea. Four of Cups. This is it. Move your troops out of Crimea and move your troops out of the other two territories. You hand those territories, hand the Crimea back to Ukraine. I don't know if that's just what came into my head, because reparation-wise, money and all that, Russia's going to be left devastated by this. They're not going to be able to. And the only thing they can do is hand back land. Well, they have to hand back Crimea, the Crimean Peninsula. This is the Emperor. Stability. That's a yes card, by the way. And the Star. Possibly yes. That big yes. There's going to be some major blows to Russia here with the Judgment, the Emperor, the Star, when I asked the question. So, yeah, reparation. They have bases in the... I think they're going to have to hand back the Crimea Peninsula and move out. Um, yeah. So that's. Yeah, anyone got any questions? Still got half an hour to go if you want to have a look at anything else. Oh, thank you, Eleanor. How about we have a look at something else that's going on? Let's have a look. I think Snapchat made the right decision to turn off their hotspot things, which is where they, you know, you can see where concentration of people are. Oh, thank you, Libra Lady. Can you read on the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida? Yeah, that absolutely disgusting bill. I'll be happy to read on that. Will that get turfed? It impinges upon your First Amendment rights. Will that get turfed? Yeah. Some of the oligarchs will have their money taken away. Others will just commit to helping rebuild. You see, the only way most of them were allowed to continue operating was by paying Putin. So a lot of them will be. I have Maria Almeida. Hello, and thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. The Don't Say Gay bill, is that going to end up being turfed? This is a beacon. A warning. This bill. And this is the hermit. This bill will drive people away. It will drive them into hiding. It will drive them to leave their homes, go elsewhere. It should be taken as a real warning. But this is justice is blind. Justice does not care whether you're gay, straight, whether you're made uncomfortable or not. This will be challenged in courts. And these challenges will be victorious. And this will increase momentum in challenges against other bills. But it's still a little way away. It's not going to get turfed out tomorrow. I wish I could tell you it would, but it's not. It's easy to draw the King of Wands and immediately think Trump, but in this case, it's better, more compassionate leadership, and the opportunities. There are going to be a lot of hidden icebergs that this bill is going to come up against. Again, it's going to drive people into the background and underground, and it shouldn't. They shouldn't have to feel that way. And the energy is going to build against this bill. Is it going to get thrown out? Last card. Yes, celebration. But it's still going to take a while. Don't expect it to be all sorted out tomorrow. Total prejudice, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, racist idiot. That's what idiot came up with it. So, yeah. I want to ask churches, evangelists, churches that come out and express a political opinion, are they going to be fined? Or are they going to be deregistered as a church? Because I do really feel like evangelicals were behind that bill. So, if any links are proven to a church, an evangelical church, because they don't pay taxes, because they're a church. If links can be proven between them and bills like this, will they be deregistered? Yes, they'll be on really shaky ground. And the amount of taxes they would have to pay, yeah, they will. So it's going to be that they cannot use those strategies anymore. They'll be deregistered as a church. It might take a while for that to come in, but it will happen. There is this legal separation of church and state in a lot of countries, including Australia. And if you're going to interfere with the state, then you cannot be a church, and therefore you cannot be exempt. So there's going to be changes happening, and there is energy building up around these changes and these moves to stop this manipulation. What year are we in? 2022, Sweet Pea? Okay. I've still got about 17 minutes left. What do you want to look at? It doesn't feel like it. Yeah. Something happy. Oh, I just have a quick look. Will Harris make it clear to Poland that they must take all? Hi, Dana Derek. Putin's children. I don't know how old they are, Dana. Will Harris make it clear to Poland that they must welcome all? Yes. They cannot restrict who they take in. They cannot say, no, you're not allowed to because you're not in this narrow band of people they like. You must welcome all. Yes, she will. Well, what's some good news? I don't know much about Putin's first, welcome, Dana Derek. Will US citizens be able to visit Cuba by 2023? Let's have a look. And I don't know how old they are. Like if they're under 18, I don't read on children under 18. Are they really high in the public arena? And they're adults, then I would read on them, like if they're like Trump's kids and stuff like that. Yeah, I just don't know much about them. So will the US citizens be able to visit Cuba by 2023? The Magician. Yeah, it's going to take some work. Came out reversed. It's going to take some work, but yes, Dragonfly's 8 of... Again, it's, being able to get there. After some hard work. Page of Moths. There's definitely talks underway with regard to that. So, yeah, I think it's still got some work to be done there, but there is yes, no, yes. Queen of Bees. That is the Queen of... Beads of Swords. Queen of Swords. There's definitely still a few things to sort out. But, yeah, they're all adults, are they? Okay. So I don't know their names, so I'm going to do a collective reading on them. And welcome, Dana Derek. Hi, Randy Samoa. Welcome. Just going to go through and... Yeah, it's going to take some work. It'd probably be later in 2023 than earlier. Oh. Will the next wave of COVID be mild and when? Okay, I'll have a look at that. But first we'll look at Trump's children. Not Trump's children, Putin's children. What is in the future for them? The sun, bleak times. It's reversed, so quite bleak times. It depends how complicit they are with their father and stuff, but the challenge for them is to be able to find resources and build their defenses. So they aren't going to be under attack whether or not they deserve it or not. Seven of Beetles, that is the Seven of Pentacles, that is the card of consequences, assessment. I do feel that each of them is going to be placed under an assessment. What did they do for their father? Were they aligned with their father, this, that, or other? It's like they're going to be the Knight of Beetles. At the base of this is basically that I think their mindset now is get out of Dodge and do the best that I can for myself. It's a very mercenary mindset at the base of this. And the advice for them is to get ready for consequences from that, and get ready for assessment, because wherever you go, once this is over, you're going to be really grilled. If you stay in Russia, you'll get grilled. If you're out, once Putin's gone, if you go somewhere else, you'll get grilled. What is the outcome for them? They'll end up okay. It's sitting pretty, but and autonomous of themselves, but there's financially they'll be okay. Will any of them be subject to prosecution? Three of Moths. There will be some consequences for some of them with the Three of Moths, which is the Three of Wands, for their actions. And again, that goes back to the assessment of their actions. Page of Bees. I think they're going to be disappointed with how they come out of the whole mess. The High Priestess. Some of them might end up in an institution, in jail of some sort, for responsibility for their actions. So some will be okay. Others could end up incarcerated in an institution, being made to take responsibility. The cross keys are the keys of taking responsibility for their actions. Hi, Hermit's Corner. Hi, Dean. How are you? Hi, Edna May. And hello to all my lovely lurkers. I haven't said hello yet. I'm so sorry. I normally say hello pretty early on, don't I? So all my lovely lurkers, I'm sorry if I haven't said hello. And everyone who's taken the time to click on and watch my video, thank you very much for that. Is it premature to relax? Hi, Deborah Kell. Relax mask mandates in New York City. Let's have a look. Yeah, it might be a little bit premature. Page of Moths and the Knight of Beetles. Reversed. Page of Moths. But there's a pretty good foundation. Might be a wee bit premature, but I don't think the consequences are going to be major in any case. I think it's just mainly because businesses need, it might sound mercenary, but they need to be able to open up and they need to be able to bring people in without masks. Little bit premature, but I don't think there's going to be disastrous consequences, okay? Now, happy birthday, Edna May. Somebody asked, next wave of COVID, will it be as severe? What will the next wave of COVID look like? Of course, it's your birthday, Edna May. You can ask one question. How's that? Anyway, first, what is the next wave of COVID going to look like? Guide to the highest truth and compassion. The energy. Lovers. 3 of Cups. There's more support for it. Of course, there's new understanding. This can be about new understanding. Hi, Katie. Kathy's guided light. Hi. 3 of Cups. There's more support. So things, and I'm meaning like medicinal support, elixir support, things like that. Page of Pentacles. It is going to be disruptive, of course. There is going to be some disruption. But 7 of Swords. It's good or bad. Can be strategies. Okay. Now, there's no reversals in this deck, but anyway, 7 of Swords. The strategies, yeah, most of them will work, but there's a couple that are not quite there. But the Devil came out reversed, which means being able to escape from the Devil. So, and then the Sun. So, look, it is going to have some impact. Will it have a major, it might escape major impact is what I'm seeing. King of Cups. But yeah, it is still going to be disruptive. It is going to be still disruptive to people. And the 10 of Cups. Families are going, I think families, and 5 of Pentacles out in the cold. Yeah, it's still going to cause some restrictions and stuff. But 9 of Wands, the defenses that have been built up over the last few years are going to play a positive role. So I think we're going to come through the next wave, the next variant, better than we have the others. But that doesn't mean it's not going to. Probably going to escape super major bad impact, but they're still going to have to deal with things. So, but we're going to come out okay. So Edna May, is that your question? Will the people over the world go back to being civil to each other? We're so divided right now. Oh, what a wonderful question, Edna May. Might grab some oracle cards to look at that. Unfortunately, there's always going to be people who thrive on division. Got the Sacred Destiny Tarot. by Denise Flynn here. They're gorgeous cards. So, Spirit, Universal Spirit, and my guides, thank you for all of your help today, and guides of the greatest truth and compassion. I offer my thanks up for all of your help today. And I'll ask one last question. Will the people of the world be able to go back to being civil to each other when this madness ends? Let's have a look. What is the card? Focus. Look at this. It's a beautiful card. We've got, I think it's a snow leopard. Up high, snow is falling. There's a mountain, a peak, a pinnacle, if you will. I think if we focus our energies on healing and opening up dialogue with people, there's a good chance. Focus, snowy mountain peak. Mountains traditionally represent transcendence and spiritual evolution. They also symbolize rising above mundane situations and reaching greater heights. So focusing on those greater heights, not focusing on the mundane. The snow at the peak represents pristine clarity. At the peak. Mountain peaks are often the destination of spiritual pilgrimages. Many cultures believe that the tops of mountains were the resting points of the gods and celestial beings. Us and Them. That's the song that popped into my head when you said Pink Floyd, actually. The sacred landscape wants you to know what you focus on is what you will pull to you. So put your attention to that which is worthwhile. Concentrate on one desire. Direct your intent to one thing, rather than being scattered in many directions. When your thoughts and actions are unfocused, it dilutes and diminishes your forward movement. It is much easier to gain results when you are concentrating on one path. Gather your inner resources and with intensity and passion, go forward and upward, and you'll see the results. This is also a card of spiritual transcendence and traveling to higher realms. So stay focused as you elevate your higher consciousness. You are close to heavenly realms. So focus. If we want the people of the world to be civil, we have to focus our energies on that goal. Focus our energies. You can do this in however you go about doing that, whether it's promoting peace or dialogue between countries or supporting people to do this, or charities. If you focus on bringing, if the focus behind your activities is to help bring healing to the world and to bring civility back into dialogue between peoples of the world, in whatever way you support that, if that is the focus, whatever activities you do to support that will help that come into being. Okay, my darlings. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support, for the donations. They do make a difference. when you're on limited banks, and they do make a difference. So thank you, my darlings. And just remember, if you want a reading, you can email me. And I love you all. So stay strong, stay healthy, stay happy, stay loving. Okay? I love you all. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in a few days.